Police say it's hard to detect, prosecute or even track drink spiking in New Zealand and can't provide figures of the prevalence of it.
But data from the country's sexual assault testing clinics say at least 12% of patients in the past year have been victims of drug-assisted sexual assaults. Juliet Speedy has this exclusive report.
I just felt like I was actually going crazy.
Simon believes he had his drink spiked in Wellington on a night out.
I woke up at 7 o'clock the next morning in a dairy on Manor Street with no clothes on apart from a shirt, my undies and a shoe.
He was in a club with a friend enjoying an evening, but his behaviour abruptly and uncharacteristically changed before completely blacking out.
I still can't remember getting up on a table and dancing and then being kicked out and then pulling people off the street to kiss.
Simon still doesn't know what happened to him that night. He went to police who were supportive, but they said it would be almost impossible to find out.
And that finding someone and holding them accountable was out of the question.
In the wake of the Mama Hooch trial, Newshub went to police to obtain figures to try and get a picture of the prevalence of drink spiking in New Zealand. But our Official Information Act request was refused, with police saying it was too hard to distinguish whether drink spiking and then sexual offences occurred. They could only give figures for disabling, stupefying and poison charges, and in all of New Zealand they only had court action for 3 people in 2021, 5 in 2022 and 2 so far this year.
I believe it happens a lot more often than we have recorded.
Detective Inspector Kirby heads up the Sexual Assault Division at New Zealand Police and says drink spiking is one of the hardest crimes to detect and prosecute.
Definitely not a true representation of it. Certainly the amount of times that people will imply or anecdotally say to us they thought it happened.
In the Mama Hooch case, the Jazz brothers offending went on for at least 3 years, likely longer. When the 2 women came forward in 2018, police searched their database and found 38 occurrences linked to Mama Hooch, but nothing flagged up on the system before that. Health New Zealand also has no data. If someone that had been spiked turned up to ED, it would be classified as intoxication, adverse drug reaction or overdose. Newshub also received data from the country's Sexual Abuse Assessment and Treatment Services, which showed of all patients that were examined in the past 11 months, at least 12% were drug-assisted sexual assaults, which shows far higher numbers than police. Police say changes may need to be made.
The extent of the problem, I guess, is hard to determine.
Simon says they definitely do.
To know that police aren't able to collect substantial data to know how, when or what is scary, because for all I know, the person who spiked my drink could be out on the dance floor this weekend.
He says that thought and his experience has changed his behaviour and attitude towards going out forever. Juliet Speedy, Newshub.